Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Shai Basham, Kakodash. Giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Shai Basham, Kakodash. Shmak Rayam. La Kalium, Edom. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I'll watch this video. Anyway, the title of this video is, Are we to love Esau? Hell to the goddamn no. They're the enemy. And every Edomite, you better hope like hell that you're not an Edomite. At the end, when everything's said and done, vocab alone. Because if you're an Edomite, you're gonna be the poster child for Esau in the kingdom. You know? So you better hope that you got some Jake. You better hope that you're on your father's side. You know, you go back generations and you some simple Jake. You bet that's all you can hope for. Or you can hope for the fact that you might be a Canaanite or Ishmaelite. Because the other nations, they're all going to be under the Israelites. That's how the order is going to be. Who's the number one nation right now on the top? He's losing his status, though. Are you Edomites? Are you so-called white people? And you know that you're Edomites because you never speak on Esau. You never do anything on Esau. No, they did this one documentary on Petra years ago. I think it was on the Discovery Channel, History Channel, whatever. I got all excited to watch it, and they didn't mention anything about Esau. They just spoke about Petra, but they didn't equate it to the Edomites. So that kind of proves that I take it that they know that they're the Edomites. Hey, the scriptures say he is wiser than Daniel. There's nothing that can be hid to thee. But they're baffled when it comes to the Edomites. No, they know exactly who the Edomites are. They know that they are the Edomites. They know that they descended from Esau. They know that. The small hats, the elite among the small hats, know that they're Edomites. I'm not talking about the average, everyday small hat, the Hasidim community, the Lubavitches, if I'm saying it right, Lubavitches. It's tongue twisted to me, so forgive me. But I dealt with them, as I said in previous videos. And they're some of my best passengers. They always come in. How you doing? How's your day? Have a good day. Good evening. You know, they don't complain. They don't complain ever. And then they tip too. You know. So I don't have no problem with them. But at the end of the day, they're going to be my slaves. They're going to be our slaves. But they're not going to be by themselves. They're going to go into slavery along with the rest of the nations. You go to Genesis chapter 10. Every person that you see on the planet Earth right now, every person that you see on the planet Earth come from either one of the three sons of Noah, which is Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And we've identified these people. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but I got mad because I watched this video, and I'm going to leave this in the description box. What is this? Ra'ai La Yerushalayim Yahushai is coming back 144K. And then you got the avatar from Scooby-Doo, you know, at the end of the cartoon, they pull a mask off of somebody, and then if you get a close up on this, It's a small hat. You know, he might have been playing like he was a nice guy to the kids in the mansion somewhere, but then they figure it out. It's just, but in this particular cartoon, it was a small hat. They pull the mask off of him. But anyway, this right here, like I said, I'm gonna leave this in the description box. This guy starts snapping on this brother, this Jake, because he said, well, you didn't get the memo. He said something to the fact that you look like you're ready for Easter. And I believe this guy like wisecracks, especially against this brother right here. And see, the thing about these Jakes, they have to bite their tongue. They have to know their place. You know, like I said, you better know your place, boy. Well, that applies today, 2022, almost 2023, 2022. Yeah, Yahweh Shai turning up. And did the Most High turn up this year? And we're looking for the next year for the Most High to really turn up, to really make things happen, meaning to make all these prophecies come to pass so that we can get the fuck up out this bitch and we can rule over these devils. And that's what's going to happen. And you going back to vocab, you can bring all the books out. You know, I got this book that tells you that we're not the Edomites. I got this other book that does this, and I got this book here. All them books are going to be burnt up with you if you stay in America. But if you're smart and you leave America, you're going to get shackled up anyway. Like I said, you better hope that you're a Jake. The only way you're not going to be shackled up and go into captivity is if your father, not your mother, my mother's a Sicilian. Don't care about your mother being a Sicilian. Has nothing to do with a woman. You know, FOPI, they teach that, and the Most High is clearly not dealing with them. They're just confused people, you know? And I'll say shout outs to IUIC for going out there in mass, because that's what Paul Curse he wants me to say. He wants me to say that you got to say something good about them. See, that's what the great Bishop Nathaniel did. Well, you backed up a guy that you know, he put his proverbial tail between his legs. You know, he submitted to them. He didn't want to say he's apologized. That's why it took him a long time to say I'm sorry, because he didn't want to say it. And they said, look, nigga, if you don't say it, so it wasn't a heartfelt, sincere apology. He said it because you're gonna lose everything. Like I said, these Jakes got to bite their tongue. They got to know their place. They got to bite their tongue. They got to know where they stand among Esau. So this guy, he makes a wisecrack about him looking like you ready for Easter. And then this brother says, I don't know these characters' name. I don't keep up with college football, NFL too much any damn way. I don't keep up with that. So he says, as long as my wife texts me and tell me that I look good. And then he said, well, that's not what your wife texted me. Now, right then and there, I would have fucked his ass up right on the set. I would have leaped. I would have leaped over. You don't talk about a Jake's. There's two things you don't do. You don't fuck with a Jake's woman, because he will kill you. And you don't fuck with his food. If I'm eating a good meal and you fuck with me, I'm gonna stick a fork in your fucking eyeball. I mean, I'm not gonna do that, but don't fuck with me while I'm eating, and don't fuck around with. As far as women is concerned, Jake will kill your motherfucking ass. Now, if I was him, I would have said fuck it. You know, I would have said fuck it like Beyonce. And I would have leaped over this motherfucking table, knocking them laptops off and fucking this motherfucker up. I would have tried my best to kill his ass in the spirit. See, that's why I'm not in this position right here. Like I said, these guys got to suck up to Esau. They all look like they're on equal footing. No, These are the bosses. All right? These two got to know their place. Now, if you watch this whole video, there's a commercial break, and this Edomite is here, and this Jake is over here, and this brother walks back mad as hell, and this guy picks up on it. He said, I better not say nothing because he might fuck my ass up. And this guy didn't come out. This bitch made cracker, he didn't come out. I don't know if the guy said, look, motherfucker, I'll kill your ass and straighten this bitch, motherfucker, bitch made Edomite up, or he fucked him up, which I doubt it. But he kind of gave him that, like a dog, like a pit bull, like they'll to let you know, give me some space. Dame espacio. I'm going to bite the shit out your ass. But this is what Jake has to deal with. That's why Kyrie Irving did that apology, which it wasn't heartfelt. They put pressure on it. So it's a fake apology. What they did to Kyrie Irving was they buck broke him. They buck broke him. So we're still in the slave status. Only thing they don't have the yokes of iron and all that, and the chains and the trees where they put you on the, put you on, hang you on the tree. Can you imagine if Esau did that? We're gonna whip this nigga, and then we're gonna lock him up for 50 years. Jake will goddamn lose it, man. And the Most High is rising up, rousing the spirit of Jake up, and they see the truth, and they see the truth. Micah 5:7. I'm quoting scriptures here. I'm not actually reading scriptures, but I'm going to go into Jacob and Esau. First of all, if Kyrie really knew the truth, he would have said, number one, you guys, we are the truth. First of all, Semitic is a made-up word. No such word as Semitic. That's the word that they came up with. So it's exclusively to them. So Jake can't say, well, we're Semitic too. No, we're not Semitic. That's a made-up word. We're Shemitic, and they're Shemitic. There's a reason why they call themselves Semitic instead of Shemitic, because that's their exclusive word. Look it up. So we're Shemitic, and they're Shemitic. So you got to explain to them. You got to say, first of all, Semitic is not the correct way of saying that word. What you mean is Shemitic. And who are Shemitic? How many people are Shemitic? How can I be anti-Shemitic if I'm Shemitic myself, not Semitic? And then tell them, you are Shemitic people, but you are Shemitic Edomites. Jake got to start telling them. You just got to start coming out and telling them, you are the Edomites. And it's just the fact that you are Edomites. And this guy right here is a fucking asshole. And he's not gonna trust me. He's not gonna ever say anything wrong against this Jake again, because next time Jake is gonna roll up on his ass and fuck him up. So, like I said, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but he came back. He was gonna say something. Esau smiles. What's going on, Jim? He put that mouse down kind of hard, like he was telling this guy, say, look, I'm ready to fuck something up, motherfucker. And like I said, IUIC, give you credit, you went out there, you spoke, but guess what? You backed up a man. You were the army he was talking about, but he wound up fucking tuck-tailing any damn way. Because he didn't want to say goodbye to the goodies. But guess what? He should be, if not, he should be worth about $500 million. He got a deal with Nike for ongoing deal worth $90 million. Let's round it off to $100 million. Then he gets, I believe it works out to, it works out to $35 million a year. Somebody do the stats for me. I was looking up before, I don't remember. But he's worth, he has to be worth at least 100 million. Now with $100 million, guess what? You can retire and you can live off $1 million a year for the next 100 years. If he's 30 years old and he's going to live to 130 years, guess what? He's good every year for $1 million. But Jake gets greedy. So he compromised himself. He put the money before his beliefs. And he doesn't know nothing. He's completely confused. What they did was they buck, I call it butt broke, but the term is buck breaking, buck broke, which Tariq Nasheed put a video out on that subject. You know, he goes into it. He does those videos. He does those documentaries that get you riled up, get you pissed off, man. And they still got to pay us, man. We're considered former slave, but we're still slaves. Anyway, this is what I'm gonna do. Like I said, watch this video, and we'll see what comes of this. And you know what? Bottom line is, Esau don't give a flying fuck about you, Jakes. That a video with the chick, what's her name? How do you say her name? Shanquilla. I can't even think of it. There was a bunch of Jake women and some men that went down there to Mexico, and these are like, you know, pretty much well-to-do women that were really they were all hoes. They were all fucking hoes. You know, they got the video of them in the pool shaking their ass. They're jumping from one prick to another prick, one penis to another penis. They're wild. And the Sanquilla, whatever her name is, please forgive me. She's 25 years old. She's with some friends, real friends or fake friends. A fight, and they're like I said, she's 25 years old, so they're supposed to be mature adults. Mature adults don't go in a hotel room and start fighting like you know, two kids in the first grade in the schoolyard. I know, because I had a lot of fights in the schoolyard. I always was fighting in the schoolyard when I was like 6, 7 years old. But at 25, no, you don't do that. She had a couple of successful businesses, and the video shows, and you had the one guy, and I believe her boyfriend didn't even show up. So what the hell is she going down there without a boyfriend? She went because of this other guy. Like I said, I don't know all the details, but it's not really on the news. They kind of mentioned it briefly. If it was some white girl, you know, some Edomite that went with some black, you know, white girls like to hang out with Jake, those type. She went down there, and that same thing, you got one of the black women beating the shit out of her. That shit will be all over the news because they don't give a fuck about you. What is that? Jeremiah. Let me go to that. Jeremiah. I believe that's Jeremiah 15. Jeremiah 15. Yep, Jeremiah 15:5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem, which is the sons of Israel, or who shall bemoan thee, or who shall go aside to ask how thou do it. They're not making no. They'll briefly mention it, and that's about it. You know, okay. Now to the weather. Now for some good news. But if it was an Edomite, hanging out with some Jake, and they had a fight, and then she wound up dead. And it's on camera where they're saying, fight back, girl. And she's dead. That shit would have been all over the news, man. That shit Donald Trump would have said something about it. Jake would have said something about it. That shit would have been all, judgment, justice for Natalie or whatever her fucking name is, you know? So there it goes, man. They don't give a shit about you to this day. To this day. And like I said, Kyrie has enough. Kyrie said, I don't want to lose that money. I don't want to lose that million. I'm used to that millions. I want to get more millions. So he compromised himself. And guess what? He gonna take that. He gonna take that. Look, he didn't take the jump shot, but guess what? He gonna take the charagma because they'll kick him out the league. So he's not. I don't see him being one of the elect. So what in the hell am I going to back up somebody that's not of the elect? You know, fuck a Kyrie, man. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to. I'm going to put in the word Esau and just see how many times it comes up. I'm going to make it easy for myself. I'm putting the word Esau, Edom, the Edomites, Idumea. And let's see how many times they're blessed. Let's see how many times the Most High talked good about them. First of all, let's go to Genesis 25. The Most High put a spirit in man, right? He put one spirit in Ham, like these Hamites, these Sudanese. They don't dance like Jake. You go to West Africa and South Africa, them Africans dance like Jake because they are Jake. You go to like the Sudan, for example, and watch them dance. They don't dance. They ain't got no rhythm. Them West Africans and Nigerians, the people of Sierra Leone, the people of Ghana, even the South Africans. I believe Shaka Zulu is Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu is a Jake. I believe he's a Jake. You know, I haven't did any real research on the man, but I believe he's a Jake. I believe he's an Israelite. Because he didn't accept the Messiah. When them white boys showed it, this is our Lord Jesus. He said that what did they do to him? They put him on the cross. He wasn't a good warrior. He did not have a good strategy. So he didn't understand. So he said, I'm not accepting this faggot on the cross. You know, there's a scene, and I got it on my Odyssey page. You just got to look for it. If you put in Zulu or Shaka Zulu on my Odyssey stream page, you'll find it. You'll find that scene. Now, in that same movie, there were some Israelites walking. There's some black people. And they said, who are those people? He said, oh, those are the wandering Jews. Yeah, because they wandered from the onslaught of the Romans back in 70 AD. They fled into Africa. They knew about Africa. When the Lord when Mary was pregnant, great with child, as they say, the angel Gabriel came to Joseph, really came to Joseph and Mary in dreams, and gave Joseph certain instructions and gave Mary certain instructions, but mainly Joseph. And what did the angel Gabriel say? Go into Egypt. What was down there in Egypt? A big community of Israelites down there. I mean, I don't know the number, but the biggest group that came for the Passover every year, when you go to Acts, when you go to the book of Acts, the first 5 chapters or whatever, was Stephen. Remember when Stephen got stoned? It was the Alexandrian Jews. They were there pursuant to Deuteronomy 16 and 16. So he cursed them out, and they stoned them. And it said that they were the Alexandrian Jews. So there had to be millions of Israelites down there in Egypt. And that kills that thing about Deuteronomy 28 and 68, where it says that Deuteronomy 28 and 68, it speaks about from the place where I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. That's supposed to be Egypt, right? That's what vocab in them say. It's Egypt. But wait a minute. You have millions of Israelites living down in Egypt. The Lord said you're not going to see that place again. So that Egypt in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, if you want to say that they went back into Egypt, yeah, they went back into Egypt. That's in the Josephus and during the time of 70 AD, Titus, he enslaved a lot of them and sold them to the Egyptians or whatever. Well, the scripture said we're not going to go back into Egypt. So what Egypt is it talking about? It's talking about America, the modern day Egypt. Read Revelation 11. Okay, so now let's do this. And like I said, I'm gonna be fair. However, I want to be fair. If you can tell me from what movie that's from, you're good. Okay, I can start from the 19th verse. I'm gonna go right to the point. And for this bubblehead Negro, Geno Jennings, he went into the Apocrypha dealing with Second Ezra's 6 and 9. He said that's talking about Jesus. This guy's a complete dummy. It's talking about Esau. This because it mentions Abraham and Isaac, so it ain't talking about Jesus. So let me start from 19th verse. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, Rebecca, Syrian, right? Assyrian. That word is sometimes you look up that word, Assyrian. Sometimes it's like when you go to Deuteronomy 23 verse 7. The word there is Syrian. So Rebecca was Assyrian, meaning they were living in the land of Syria, but they were Hebrews. And Isaac entreated Yahweh, the Lord, for his wife because she was barren. I want to go right to the point. Okay, right here, 22nd verse. And the children, so she became pregnant, she conceived, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be, 2 different types of people, 2 different spirits shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. So that Jake, Esau knows. Esau knows you can't. That's why you don't see no American Edomites as champions in anything as far as boxing is concerned. Jake just completely took over the UFC. That was supposed to be a white rule, Edomite rule sport. But Jake took, if it's not a Brazilian, it's a Jake. Benjamin or Judah. You got Ephraim up in there. They done took that whole, and a few white boys that do have champions, that are champions, they're really Jakes. They're really Jakes. But who dominates that whole sport? Jake. Jake took that sport over. It's like they took the NBA over, the NFL, the NFC. Hey, your draft pick, NBA draft pick, NFL draft pick, AFC draft pick. Who's always the number 1 draft pick? Is always Jake. And if it's a white boy, that white boy is really a Jake. Like Tim Brady. That's a Jake. He a Jake. He looked like an Edomite. I always get his name confused with Tom Brady and Tim Brady from the Brady Bunch. Tim Brady. Anyway, and he's up in age. He's still playing on the highest level. Anyway, it says, and Yahweh and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So that happened during the time of King David, and it's going to happen again in the kingdom. And then they're going to be destroyed. So, okay, so I want to get this. And the children struggled together within her. What they were doing, what these two children were doing, these two opposing spirits, there was a death match going on. There was a death match going on in her womb. She couldn't sleep. You could clearly see her stomach moving. You know, she's holding the stomach and she tried to sleep. They'd be fighting. They were trying to gouge each other's eyes out because it's two opposing spirits. Remember, there's a story I just heard this morning of two embryos, human embryos from 1992, and they did the process, which they test tube babies, and there were two, I think there were twins born, or two, yeah, well, I guess you can call them twins, that were born. So they were saying, oh, you know, these kids are already with 92, 2002, 2002. They're already 30 years old. Just no. The embryo does nothing. The sperm, the embryo does nothing until there's a spirit that the Most High initiates in them. The spirit, the embryos could be 1,000 years old if they're preserved. When they activate the embryos, the Most High puts a spirit in them, so they're newborn babies. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Let me see. Oh, and Esau proves you don't need a woman no more. You just need a man's sperm. You need a sperm, and a woman cannot produce her own child, so that kills that lie about Mary not having sex with Joseph for them wacky, tacky, dumbass, stupid ass Christians. Like, what do I want? What do I want? Okay, they struggled. They struggled. And the word there is rataza, 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 and this is what it means. And that's a primitive root. Oppress, broken, break, or is that bruise? Crush, discourage, struggle together, to crush, oppress, to crush, get crushed, be crushed. I want to do this. Like you see this guy, this brother right here, Jacob, he's gonna crush this white boy. That's why when you watch, matter of fact, let me go over here. Let me go over here. Okay, you see who's walking back. The commercial break, you see this guy walking back, and this cracker going to smile. What's going on, Brad? What's going on? And he puts the mice down hard. And this guy said this nigga might try to kill me. You see how mad he is? I would have killed that white. I would have jumped over that fucking table and fucked that cracker up. You gonna say something there? Not the text that your wife sent me. I would have killed his ass. And I would have said, take me to jail, throw away the key. You see how he's looking at he's looking at him like, you want some of this too, white boy? And Jake is like, I ain't trying to lose my job, man. They pay me good. They pay me good at ESPN. I don't want to lose my job. And he looking at him like, yo, say something stupid so I can fuck your ass up. And he said, hey, yeah, we're back. Hey. And that's what them crackers, before you kick a fucking cracker's ass, that's what they do. That's what they fucking do. So you're not going to take away from what we're going to do to you. Look at him. He's like, if you got to watch it, he's sitting down. He's ready to fuck something up. He's ready to fuck something up. And they could get back together, But it's always going to be in his mind. His mind is going to be, I want to kill this motherfucker. You notice Jake came back. This Edomite over here, he stayed back there because he knew the threat. He knew the threat. So the Most High is rousing up the spirit. Well, that's in the old lion, who shall rouse him up. Well, guess what? They're getting roused up now. They're getting roused up right now. So let's come back over here. It says to crush, oppress, crush, to be crushed, be broken, to crush in pieces, to grievously oppress, to crush each other. So what was going on in Rebecca's womb? A death match, not a UFC match with no referee in it. It was a straight death match. Them two babies were trying to kill each other. But they're infants, so they can only do so much. Those are two opposing spirits. So what Jake learned to do is calm his spirit down. You don't know what we're thinking on the inside, man. And when there's a change of worlds, we're gonna have that power over you, man. So now let's do this. Now there's precepts already in my mind dealing with Isaiah 11 on down, Ezekiel 25 and 12 on down, Micah 5 and 7. Those are some of the scriptures, Baruch 4, we're going to put we're going to stomp on your neck. I'm loosely paraphrasing. But so it's going to end badly for you, Edomites. It's not going to end good for you. And there's nothing you can do. You are still in the power seat, though. You are still in the power seat. That's why Kyrie had to bow down to you. He ultimately had to bow down to you. And it wasn't a sincere apology. He just didn't want to lose his money. And that's all they wanted. We said, we know you can't, we know you can't stand us. You niggas can't stand us. I was trying to speak like a small hat, but we're in the power seat. And you Latin tribe, you better get your fucking act together, you motherfuckers. Because you specialize in kissing Esau's ass. And most of the time when I go in there, first of all, when I get in the elevator, I don't like to talk to nobody. Unless I really know them. Like most of the people in my building, I don't say shit to them. If I'm coming out the car and I see somebody saying, let me wait until he goes, I don't go in the fucking elevator with that motherfucker. But there's a couple people that, hey, what's up, that I'm cool with, But most people I don't even talk to. I go to my woman's house or whatever, or where I'm at, I don't talk to too many people. And if I do talk to them, it's a few words and that's it. This spirit locks you in, man. You do videos every day, sometimes 2 or 3 videos. And Saturday comes along, you speak, then that's it. And that's what we do. That's what we do. Waiting for this thing to come. Not taking breaks like certain Israelites out there that know that the Israelites, that there's a lot of guys, y'all know, that know the book backwards and forwards, is not pushing this word out. They're not men of the Lord. They're not of the elect. They're not going to make it. They're going to take the charagma. So now, where am I going to go? Let me go to Esau. Don't let me go to the Bible, the Zandervan Bible Dictionary. Esau. Let me go to Esau. And there's many scriptures that speak about Esau that doesn't mention Esau's name. Esau's occurs bear me for a minute. And this is only the Old Testament. I'm not going to read all these scriptures, all these precepts. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And there are the generation of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir, which they call it Petra today. Boy, Esau is mentioned a bunch of times. But Esau's done away with, like vocab says, like that clown vocab Malone. No, Esau is written in the New Testament, not Edom, but Esau's name, the word Esau, the name Esau is 90 times in the Old Testament, mostly in Genesis. Oh, let me do this. Let me go to King of Edom. Let's try Edom. I don't know if it's Esau or Edom. I believe it's Edom. King of Edom. It should take me to Numbers. Yep. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. This is after they left out of Egypt. They were in the wilderness for 40 years. So the Most High said, okay, we're gonna set you up in the promised land, but you got to kill these people. How is the Most High gonna save all kind of nations that accept Jesus when the Most High told Israelites, these people right there, just kill them, kill their babies, kill their women, kill grandmothers, grandfathers, men, women, just kill them, utterly kill them. Don't make agreements with them, just kill them. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us, meaning Egypt being in the wilderness. And people said that the Israelites disappeared. We don't even know where they went. They're no more. That was a rumor. How our fathers went down to Egypt. You know the whole story. Egyptians vexed us. So I'm going to get to the point. So Moses sent messengers, 17 verse numbers 20. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of thy water, of thy wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left hand until we have passed thy borders. Now you got these jakes that's in the Christianity that'll push, you got to love Esau. Look, Esau didn't love us. The fuck we got to learn love Esau for. And another thing, you jakes that follow this Christianity, every last one of you, you're going to take that charagma and you're going to die. And then you're going to come back to us as newborn babies. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come against thee with the sword. What does he mean by that? If you look, hell no. No, you ain't coming nowhere. We don't want your money, because after he says we'll pay for anything. If we drink the water, we'll pay for it. He said, nah. He said, look, no, you don't even think about walking through our land. Because if you do, be prepared for war, because we're going to come after you. So what is that showing you? Is that showing you love or hate? The same spirit today, but Jake has to, contain his true feelings. Like I said, Carrie, forget the brother's name. Um, Kyrie, he had to bite his tongue, man. He had to suck it up. They put him in his place. And they're drinking and they're laughing. They talking shit about him too behind his back. Because he was compromised. He said, look, and nigga, you worth shit, at least $100 million. You worth at least 100 million. I say you more or less worth $500 million, half a billion. And you couldn't say you couldn't walk away. You couldn't, if you're worth a $500 million, you can live on $1 million a year for the next 500 years. That's generational wealth that you can pass down to your children. So at the end of the day, Kyrie Irving wound up showing himself to be a simp, a bootlicking Negro, a confused bootlicking Negro. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna get 4,000 men and march around. And this is for Kyrie. Kyrie ain't an Israelite. He's an Israelite, but he don't know he's an Israelite. And he following this clown, Ronald McDonald Dalton. We like to get on Dalton, man. And he said there was a video where he wanted to do a debate with Sakari, and Sakari ran. Man, Sakari will wipe up the floors with you guys. It said, and the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of that water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against them with much people and with a strong hand, meaning the army. The king said, man, bring out the army. Bring out the army. And they had them swords drawn. And they would happily have killed you all. So we're not brothers. Ain't no like I'm a little all over the place, but the GOCC, they teach this crap that Edomites can make it. They even got Edomites marrying Jake women. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to destroy Elder Rakashiyah. The Most High is going to destroy the GOCC. For that church, that's nothing but a church organization. Now let me go to the word Edom. Okay, Edom is 80, almost 90 times. That's for the word Edom. But Edom just disappeared. Like vocab. They just disappeared. They just, I don't know what happened to them. Yeah, you wish they disappeared. The fact that you're here proves that Esau is still here. You don't have anything to do with the Edomites. And Jake, we all know the whole story. Jake took his birthright. And to this day, Esau is mad. So I hope you're watching this, Ronald Dalton Jr., because the so-called current white people, white people did not descend from Japhet. You dead wrong. And there's no way you can link that up. You can go to the precept. Doesn't even say too much about Japhet. Only a few times it mentions Japhet. If I type in the word Japhet, it'll probably come up maybe 3 or 4 times, if that many. So they're not the sons of Japhet. That's old school Hebrew Israelism from back in the 70s. My parents used to teach that, yeah, you know, the white man came from Japheth. The first time I heard it when I went to One West, um, they said it when it was on the street speaking in the class. They Edomites, as soon as they showed me the precepts, I said, boom, that these people are the descendants of Edom. So you're not on no deep level. That's old school Hebrew Israelite. And for you people that don't know, if you remember Yahweh ben Yahweh, guess what they taught? If you're a West Indian, you're not an Israelite. If you're a Haitian, you're not an Israelite. You got to be a Negro, you know, an American Negro to be an Israelite, which is the tribe of Judah. Oh, forget about Puerto Ricans and the Latin tribe. They're heathens. Because I know this because I rolled up on them, a bunch of them. They were wearing the white at that time. They were all over the place when I first came into school in the early 80s. And then they even came to our school. They even came to the school at One West. And you know what they did? They said, well, look, we're getting all the Israelites together and we're going to go to the JFK airport and we're going to lay down on the runway, you know, the tarmac or whatever, so the planes won't fly. That's what they said. That's what they said. Well, hold up. That's what Bishop Nate is doing. He's doing that type of shit where you got 4,000 dudes. Don't be surprised if he said we're going to go to JFK and we're going to lay out on the tarmac. And them guys would do it, man. Paul Kersey and all of them with his tall ass. Like, can you imagine if, man, y'all don't better not do that because I'm going to clown all of y'all, man. The Most High didn't say do these mass marchings. You know, you showed a little strength, you know, which is good. I give you a little credit on that. I give you a pat on the back. But the Most High didn't say that. What did the Most High say do? He said to prophesy. He told Ezekiel, prophesy to these dry bones. And when it said they became a great army, meaning out of one prophet or 5 prophets became 50 prophets. 50 prophets became 500 prophets and so forth. So what does now I hope each and every last one of them guys, whether they 2,000 or 4,000, I hope every last one of them ate the roll. I hope I can roll up on any of them and when they lined up and ask them questions, they'll give me all the answers. I hope that, brother. I hope that. Scripture said, be fully, I'm paraphrasing, fully persuaded in his own mind. Because you can't just join it. Yeah, I'm an Israelite. Now you don't know nothing. For you to participate and be out there and get that purple shirt, you better know all them. You better know what Bishop Nate know, or the leadership of the IUIC know. Because if you part of GMS, you cannot speak unless you know them scriptures, man. And every man that's a part of GMS has to do videos. It has to be out there on the highways and the byways. Some brothers go out on Tuesdays. Some brothers go out on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Some brothers get together and do sit downs. Give me a second. Okay, so you can see how many times Edom is written. Yeah, it says right here, and compass the land of Edom and the land of Moab. So where were they heading? They were in the wilderness of Zin, which is north of the top of the Red Sea, in between the Gulf of Suez and the Gulf of Aqaba. and they were going north. They wasn't going into Africa. They were going north. That's why um, King Moses, they use that. King Moses went to the king of Edom and said, "Can we pass through your highway?" Because that's where they were going. So then it says, look, it says, then they went along through the wilderness and compassed the land of Edom and the land of Moab and came, and that's why, and that's why the king of Moab hired Balaam to curse him because he saw them armies, man. He saw scholars argue whether it was 6 million Israelites. It was a lot of Israelites, man. And then Deuteronomy, what is it, the second chapter, they passed by Edom, and it said the Edomites, the Most High said the Edomites are going to fear you. They're going to tremble when they see you, when they see that army. And but so the Most High said, don't meddle with them because that's their land. Because the Most High is preserving Esau for this time now. The ruler of the world right now is Esau. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all already know. So anyway, it goes from Judges, right? And then it jumps from Judges. Like if you go to Genesis, Edom is all throughout the book of Genesis. The word Esau is all throughout the book of Genesis and some of Deuteronomy. So it goes from Judges. Then it jumps to 1 Samuel 14, verse 47. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all the enemies on every side, against Moab. See, there are enemies. That's never changed. That's never changed. The Most High didn't have a change of heart. Oh, you know what? There's this one Edomite that I really like, so I'm going to open the door to eat. No, you better lock your damn emotions up. And against the children of men. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab and against the children of Ammon and against Edom and against the kings of Zobah and against the Philistines, and whatsoever he turned himself, he vexed them. Like in the beginning of the video, I mentioned Isaiah 11, I mentioned Ezekiel 25 and 12 on down. What nation do they mention? Moab, Ammon, the Philistines, and Edom. Why do they mention those nations? Because they were close neighbors to them. So we were fighting against all these people. We're enemies to these people. That's why the king of Moab got Balaam to curse Israel. Because he was like, these motherfuckers are just going to take over. They're going to take over everything. So that haven't changed, man. They're still enemies. Okay, so let me come over here. Like I said, I'm singing to the choir. But this is for some of you new cats out there and you new women. And he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom. Put he garrisons and all. And by the way, a garrison is like a wall around your city. That's what the Romans did. Titus did. He built the see, every city in the ancient world, you had, if you come into a city in the ancient world, they showed you that in the movie The Kingdom of Heaven, with this guy. Who was in this? This guy, he plays in Liam Neeson. He was the father of this guy, played by Bloom, Orlando Bloom. Those were supposed to be Jakes back there. All right, there wasn't no Edomites. Those were Jakes back there, and they were in the land of Jerusalem. And they had an ongoing war with the Arabs, led by Salah ad-Din. So they showed you who did that movie. I think it was Ridley Scott. I'm pretty sure he did it. He's known for them period pieces. And they showed Jerusalem. You had to go through a wall around Jerusalem. Well, that's how all the cities were. That's how all the cities were. Jericho's walls came tumbling down. Why? Because they had a wall around the city. And anything outside the city was called no man's land. In other words, if you want to kill somebody outside of the city because there's no jurisdiction. There's no if you kill somebody in no man's land, there's no jurisdiction. You kill a guy, you bury him, and that's it. There's nothing that nobody can do. Now, if you kill somebody inside of a wall in the city, then that's jurisdiction. So now, how does Esau have it? He has invisible walls, a garrison. Like if you go to the hood, right? You go anywhere in America. They have police, especially in the hood. So what they have garrisons, which are precincts, police precincts. So they have an invisible wall around the city. It says, and Washington, D.C. is only 10 miles square. So the jurisdiction is within D.C. But guess what D.C. did? They put an invisible wall around the whole country. See, you got to understand jurisdiction. If you go through a red light in New York City, you go over the George G.W. Bridge or whatever, and you in New Jersey, and the New York cop said, well, this guy, he calls the Jersey cop, he said, this guy went through a red light in New York City. If the Jersey cop pulls this guy over and give him a ticket, that thing will get thrown out, and then you can sue that cop because that's false imprisonment. First of all, you say where? Well, he went through a red. He was on Broadway and 42nd Street, and he went through a red light, and this New York police called me to pull him over. No, because it's a thing of jurisdiction. There's a term called multi-jurisdiction, FBI. You had this situation at this gay club, LGBTQ plus community club. Got to say it right, because they almost like the small hats, man. You said gay? No, that's not the term. You got to apologize. And you got to attend LGBTQ parties. So what happened was they got shot. This club got shot up, and the FBI was there. Well, I said, why is the FBI there? I said that the guy didn't go from one state to the other state. It's not multi-jurisdictional. It's a local jurisdiction. But people don't know that because it's American people are a bunch of fucking dummies. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna get ready to close. 2 Samuel 8 verse 14, and he put garrisons in Edom. Who put garrisons in Edom? We're gonna find out in a minute. Throughout all Edom, put he garrisons, and all day of Edom became David's what? Servants. And the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. Now wait a minute. I thought the Most High was against slavery and servitude. And the Most High blessed them to put these Edomites in captivity. So let's look up the word garrison. Look up the word garrison. Your modern garrisons are precincts. Set over something, place, pillar, prefect, garrison, post, pillar, prefect, deputy. Like you had sheriffs and you had deputy sheriffs, right? And sheriffs rule over jurisdictions. In America, The jurisdictions are not actual walls, or the garrisons are not actual physical walls. There's spaces on the map. But in the ancient world, you was in somebody's jurisdiction when you went through those gates. So where we're gonna go with this? So that's the main scripture. I don't gotta read no more precepts. This is the main one right here. David put all the Edomites. He put a wall. He surrounded them. He surrounded them, and he made them work. Let me read this one. 1 Kings 9, verse, what is that, 26? And King Solomon made a navy of ships, and Ezon Gebor, which is beside Eloth, on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. Why did he go into the land of Edom and set up a navy there with ships? Because we were over Esau. So when you over Esau, you can occupy their land. We'll read a couple more on Esau. So there's no scripture where it says anything good about Edom. Mosai didn't have anything good to say about Edom, the Edomites. 1 Kings 11:14, and Yahweh stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was the king's seed in Edom. Now, when you read this whole story, I'll read it and then I'm gonna close on this. It said, for it, 15 verse, for it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain or the general, captain meaning the head of the host, which was Joab and David were related, was gone up to bury the slain after he had smitten every male in Edom. But what about the females? He didn't kill the females, but what were they doing with the females? They were taking the females and they were making them slaves and they were making them concubines. So if an Israelite man goes into any other woman's nation's woman that have children, that child is still an Israelite. See, phobias teach you that nonsense because the Mosai is not dealing with them. For 6 months, did Joab remain there with all Israel until he had cut off every what? Male in Edom. So when you go, what is that? I believe that's Numbers 30. I'm not going to go to it. Somebody can put it in the comment section. That Moses told them, look, kill all the men among the Midianites. And then he said, ultimately, kill all the women that are married and kill all the boys. So what was that? That was the term, that's called genocide. No, that's not genocide because they saved the little girls. What they saved the little girls for? So that they can grow, so they can reach puberty, 12, 13 years old, and went in, the Israelite men went into them. Those were concubines. Now, when you go to, Nehemiah 13, where they were having children with other nations and they were allowing the children to love their mothers and learn it. No. That's why they got cut. If you had a woman of another nation and you lay with her and had children by her, those are Israelites, and they're gonna learn Hebrew. They ain't gonna learn nothing from their mother. They ain't gonna learn a damn thing from their mother because their mother has to learn about being an Israelite. Did not Ruth do that? Anyway, I'm gonna say shalom. I mean, there's a lot of precepts you can go into, but there's nothing on anything good about Esau. Mosai has nothing good to say about this man. And the feelings for Esau are the same. The Most High feels the same as he always felt about Edom. They're the mortal enemy of the Israelites, and they are going to be slaves in the kingdom. They are going to be taken down. They're going to be taken down, and we're just saying it because it's a prophecy. We're just telling you what the prophecy said. We're telling you what the book says. Now, if you go out and try to take vengeance and go against Esau, you're gonna die because Esau's in the power seat. Kyrie just learned that lesson. Kyrie learned that he really didn't have no army behind him. He was riffing. Esau saw right through him. He said, I see right through this nigga. And he said, look, let's give him some time. He will bow down. He will kiss our boots in due time. And that's exactly what he did. And I'm not mad at him. You know, they compare him to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali had the Nation of Islam behind him. Kyrie and all these jakes turned against him, most of them. Hey, the scriptures say this is for you, Kyrie Irving. The scriptures say the love of money is the root of all evil. They might say, well, now you got to go to one of these mansion parties, and you got to bend over, you got to pop a small hat or whatever, ride the goat. Then they'll really call you the goat. So you didn't fail, but you know what? I can't get mad at him because he wasn't in right positioning. And in battles and war, you have to have the high ground. He didn't have the high ground. He thought he had the high ground. He's talking about I got an army behind you. You didn't have nobody behind you, man. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.